Hi everyone, I'm Brad Liu, and today I'll be explaining a very simple problem that will help you understand Newton's second law better. In this problem, I'm asking, is it possible for this setup to be static? So what you see here is a ladder leaning against a vertical wall at a 60-degree angle. There's friction between the wall and the ladder, but the floor is frictionless. So the first thing we should do with almost any of these types of problems is draw a free body diagram, which shows all the forces acting on a system we're observing. So in this case, we're going to be observing the ladder system. So for instance, if this is the ladder, then the first force we'll be looking at is, or forces I should say, are the forces between this ladder and the wall. Now there's always going to be a normal force. Let's call this the normal force, F sub n, from the wall. And then there's going to be a friction force because there's friction right here. So the friction force should be upwards. Force of friction from the wall. Now we're going to look at this floor right here. So I said earlier this floor is frictionless, so that means there's no left or right forces that are preventing, or that there are no left or right forces because there's no friction. So there's only going to be a normal force. This normal force will be going up. I'll call it F sub n from the ground. And then lastly, there's going to be the gravitational force due to the weight of the ladder. Call it mg. Now, if you look at this free body diagram, you'll see that it's possible for the y components to cancel out, since this normal force from the ground, the weight of the ladder, and the friction force from the wall are all only in the y direction. There are no x components to these forces. However, because there's a normal force from the wall, that means, and this is the only x component force on this ladder system, we can say that this setup will not be static because there are the net forces on this ladder in the x direction is not equal to 0. So I'll write this in Newton's second law form. The net force on this ladder system in the x direction will be equal to ma, and since this is not equal to 0, there will be some acceleration in the x direction on this ladder. So the answer to this is no.